Yo, what it do, YouTube? It's your boy, the main man with the plan. You understand? Chief Keys coming back at y'all, man, with some enlightening, hopefully enlightening information. Um, I see all y'all probably aware. Netflix just dropped their Airbender remake. One of the many live action remakes we've been getting over the past several years now. And I just thought I'd give my thoughts. First I'll touch on what I thought of the original. And I'll say this, I haven't watched the original in quite some time now. It's been a while. I remember when it was currently airing in its prime and its peak when I was a kid watching Nickelodeon and all this shit. You feel me? I was pretty young. I remember when it came out. I was probably like, I'm 24 now, so I was probably like, 7, 8, And I remember watching it then. I was like, man, like, this is a really fucking good show. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just knew it was a good ass show. Even with your brain not being fully formed yet and not quite understanding every nuance to every situation that's going on, and not really understanding how this is like a good coming of age story and it's really relatable. I just know really good show, really good characters, really fun, good action. I just liked it as a kid a lot. It's been a minute since I watched it, but I touched back on it, look back at some clips of it, and man, I forgot really how good that show was. Man, it had really good character development, really good chemistry between the characters, really good voice acting, really good script, really good storytelling, really good character arcs, really good score. The music and the score on that show is really underrated. It's a really good show. Probably the best show top to bottom that Nickelodeon ever created. You know what I mean? Just as far as its touch all aspects, being objective. But it's a really good show. It's a really fucking good show. And to touch on the live action, I haven't watched the live action. I've seen some of the other live actions Netflix did. I know I've started the One Piece. I did a video on that. When I started actually the One Piece live action before the anime, and I went back to the anime. And the live action suffered kind of the same fate a lot of live action remakes kind of suffer, like all the Disney ones, like the live action Lion King, the live action Little Mermaid, the live action Beauty and the Beast, you know what I'm saying? Live action Aladdin, live action Mulan. You go to, now Netflix is doing it, the live action Cowboy Bebop and the live action, Cowboy Bebop, Yu Yu Hakusho, all the shit, you know what I'm saying? And, they did a lot of those shows got scrapped pretty quickly. And I think I'm going to dive into the real reason, and I know I'm not original. This video's probably been done a gazillion times by now. Everybody's giving their thoughts and opinion on this matter. But I said, hey, man, might as well, speak to the topic. But I think it comes down to a couple of things. You dig what I'm saying? One of the main problems with live action remakes, let's get to the core of it, okay? If you're gonna do a remake, or of a show or a movie that was, really highly regarded, everybody loved, it's classic, you know what I mean? Some forms of media, some things, they need to be left alone. And when you're making a remake, you're doing it for the nostalgia purposes. You're doing it to bring back that audience. Of course, you're trying to bring new people in, but you're trying to capture that audience that goes, oh, I know that show. I used to love that show. I used to love that movie. They're bringing it, that's like your main target audience, right? And you want them to bring their kids and friends and all that shit and bring, you know what I'm saying, and keep the circle rolling, right? I just feel like there's only so much you can do, and only so much you can do to play on nostalgia. Really, more than capitalize on the nostalgia, they kind of water it down, right? And the biggest thing about it is it's nostalgic in moments when you get to see these characters and see certain scenes and say, hey, like whatever, take any live action, because it all applies to all live action remakes. Take any one of them, it doesn't matter. You can pick any one of them, insert movie A here, and it applies to all of them. It kind of more so waters it down and puts another light on it that isn't really, most of the time isn't creative, is enlightening, doesn't give you that connection, that relatability to it. And man, maybe it's because we're older or looking at it in hindsight now, like, oh, this was so good, and you're trying to measure it up to something like this. But honestly, I don't think it's so much that. You know what I mean? I think one of the biggest things is when a creator and director and they get a property, they're like, hey man, we're gonna remake this, we're gonna redo it. Even when they have the highest respects for the past property, what it was in the past project, the past movie, and the creators of it, and they can do all this research and they can really love it and really feel passionate about it. I just feel like when they do these remakes, it's just there's a big component missing. I just think it's the soul. Like, it doesn't have that soul that you know what I mean? It's just missing that component of just compassion, soul, relatability. And I think a big way to explain this is like, say if you're like an artist and like, you know, and you looked up to another artist and, you know, they drew a certain style, and you're like, okay, and then like made this super cool, you know, graphic novel comic book, and somebody came up to you and was like, hey man, we're gonna give you $1 million to write a novel, you know what I mean? But you gotta copy this dude's same exact art style, follow the same exact path, follow the same exact everything, do everything exactly the way he did it, do it like this. You can take a couple liberties here and there, you know, make it a little different, but for the most part, try and do exactly this and capture the heart of that. And I think it's just hard to do that because you can't really replicate something like that. Like, you can't replicate what somebody else nurtured and, you know, gave birth to. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm taking an adopted kid and it's like, oh, take this kid here, this random kid, and treat him better than the main parent would have treated them. Like, you know, you can come probably close, but it's going to be hard to capture that real spirit, you know what I'm saying, of a show. You know what I mean? There's no soul component there. And that's the biggest thing I'm seeing missing with these live action remakes. I don't feel like the soul, the energy, the compassion. I watched, you know, rewatched a couple scenes of the last Airbender before making this video. And a big one, I was watching some of the chemistry scenes between Katara and Aang, and man, like, in a 2-minute scene of just those two alone, like, I felt more empathy and compassion and just energy and just relatability of this real coming of age story, and just laughter and joy. Just watch that a 2-minute video that I know I wouldn't get watching that entire series. You know, the same thing with One Piece. I went to the anime, I was like, yeah, the anime, it just has a different spirit, a different energy, a different flavor to it. It just feels, when a director has their own project and their own vision, and creators have their own vision, they're bringing it to life, there's a different feel of compassion and care and nurturing to it, and they're really growing the seed up to be something great. And, you know, when somebody just says, hey, take this, use this, make it again, it's just like, it just becomes kind of formulaic. And that's why I think these things come out really formulaic, really cringy. You know, it doesn't help they don't really get the best actors for it. You know, they don't have the same score, music, characters, development. They try and switch a little bit, and just it's never gonna be the same, man. And that's just touching on the animation. I didn't even dive into the animation versus real life aspect of things, because that is a huge component. And I'm a big fan of animation. I love cartoons. I love anime. I love all animation to this day. And I get it, you know, us over here, you know, in America, you know, animation is for kids, live action better, animation, boo, children stuff, live action, yeah. You know, it doesn't make sense to me, because you guys get live action movies. I see Nostalgia Critic touch on this, but then 80% of the movie is a live action character with animation all around them. It's just CG, just 3D animation, right? Like, 80% of the shit is animation. You have a real person interacting with this shit, and it just looks faker than ever. Shit looks more fake than actual animation. It's weird as hell. Just doesn't register right in the mind. Just like, it's a distraction. You see two different completely, you know what I mean? If I'm sitting here, you see some freaking Zimborg alien from Mars, and we're over here interacting like it's completely normal. You're like, no, this shit is weird as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not, you know, the brain's not gonna compute that. But yeah, but thing goes with animation, it's not just that, because people have been there, but with animation, you do so much more. You could, you know, like when I went to the animated last Airbender, you see the emotion, expression in their face, how they can do all these emotions and over exaggerations. You really, really feel what those characters are going through. just through their emotions. They don't have to talk, man. Just a 30-second scene of just making all these frowns and smiles. Their eyes get really big or really small, or they, you know what I mean? You can really feel all the emotions. They really embody it through just, you know, a 2-minute animation. Is really powerful, man. It's really cool to watch. And in live action, you can't do that as much. You know, even the best actors, you can't capture that as much, you know, in certain instances. And I think that compared with the music and the score and the writing and all that, the original, of course. But when you got people rehashing it, how can you rehash a story and retell it and have it be better than the original? You have people just take their script and then kind of twist it to your own. That's never going to come off as natural, or, you know, have a comfortable, homey feel to it. It's going to feel manufactured. It's going to feel processed. It's not going to feel authentic. It's just going to feel like a, you know what I mean? It's not going to have that same level of care, energy, you know, compassion behind it as like an original property, especially when you go from animated to real life, you know. And it's really hard to do it, man. I ain't trying to, I mean, that's just probably hard as hell to do it, man. I'm gonna keep it real. It's probably hard as fuck to do that shit. I get it, man, but at some point it's just like, man, it just doesn't work. Some things are, especially like, some things are just better left as it is, man. That's why I went to it waters it down, because it does, it waters it down. Some things just need to be left with the bow on it. Like Airbender ended on a perfect note. You know, One Piece is still going, but Cowboy Bebop ended on a perfect note. You know, Yu Yu Hakusho, all those shows wrapped up perfectly well. We don't need a live action. I see they're in the works of making a live action Naruto. I'm not a big Naruto fan, but do you guys really think that's gonna be that good? You know, and even if it is good, you know it's not gonna be better than the original. It's not, and we know it's not. You could bet it's just not. You know, it's the same thing with these new shows. Like, they're not bad. Like the live action, what you want to call that shit? What's that show? One Piece. It wasn't bad. I mean, I'm not watching like, oh, this is terrible. I mean, it's cringe. It's weird. They're trying to portray like, and I think that's another big thing that makes it so cringe, because they're trying to embody these personalities of animation and embody these personalities of anime characters, and they're like trying to, but it doesn't feel natural. It feels weird and forced, and it's like, yeah, you know what I mean? When you see the animation, it fits. You got these, you know, top tier, top notch voice actors doing the shit. You got these actors trying to portray that into real form, and it doesn't usually work, and it comes off kind of cringe and weird. And then you're trying to make it, the whole reason you're making live action, right, is to make it more serious and more for, you know, the grown folks, so everybody can watch it and put your big boy pants on. But then you want them to encapsulate this, you know, and a cartoon character into their performance, and it just doesn't really, it doesn't pan out. It's just really hard to do it. There's a lot of things wrong with it. You can go on and on this topic forever. I won't go on it, you know, go into deep, you know, forever on this shit. The video's already long enough, but, you know, just some quick thoughts, man. You know, live action remakes will never measure up to animation. You know, live action remakes will never measure up to animation. They can be decent, they can be good, but if you're gonna go back and watch one, you're gonna watch the animation. You know what I mean? And it's just so, especially, like, it's hard. You know, every original has its copy, but you can't be better than the original. Especially if you're just trying to be a copy. It's not gonna work, man. And I get it. Some of them tweak a couple of things, but like I said, these projects are lacking soul, energy, relatability, compassion. And I get it, when you're trying to mimic something completely, it's hard to have that same love and compassion for somebody else's seed and that they watered, and now you're just coming in and spraying some fertilizer on it. You're supposed to care about it how they are. No, you're not. So, you know, just a couple quick thoughts there, man. Let me know what y'all think. Have y'all been watching live action Airbender? What y'all think? Have y'all seen any other live actions lately? One Piece. I'm not sure if the Yu Yu Hakusho dropped. I think it did drop. I don't know. It's a bust. I know it is. Cowboy Bebop. Let me know what y'all think of a lot of these live action remakes, whether it's Disney, animation, anime, whatever. Let me know what y'all think. Give me your thoughts. Thank y'all for tuning in. And y'all stay blessed. Peace.